Tell me.
They place wagers on which one of us would win in single combat. There are odds. I have seen them.
Stupid.
That has been settled, has it not? Our brother Horus wins them all.
That would seem to be our father's view. It won't stop the common man from making wagers.
Because we were made for different fights.
Oh? And why is that?
Come to Barbarous, Peacock, and see how long your feathers last in the smog.
Perhaps I might, brother.
I would not recommend it. I have seen those chem clouds. I suspect you would last longer than you, Fulgrim.
Some of us had it easier than others.
You should not regret that. The hardship.
I don't regret it, but I could regret that only some of us gained our father's favour. I could regret that.
I thought you, of all of us, would feel joy for Horus.
Why? Because he was found first? Had the longest to work with his legion? If it had been you on Cophonia, if it had been me, we might have been in his place now.
Speak for yourself. Being War Master is not the only accolade.
No more talk of your Palatine Aquila, brother. You will only make him more jealous.
I'm not jealous. Not of Horus, nor of you. You don't understand the problem.
Which is...
While he led us, we fought to gain even a glance or a gesture from him. That was acceptable. But none of us are his rival. Nothing in the galaxy is his rival. Now, we will fight for a glance from Horus? But Horus is not the architect of this. He is just one of us. It will lead to trouble.
He is jealous.
No, he speaks the truth. It should never have happened.
Brother, you should be pleased for Horus.
He is the best of us. I begrudge him nothing, and I have told him so. But it should never have happened.
Oh, so it should have been you?
I would not have taken it.
Of course you would have.
I have no use for another title. My people give me enough.
My brother, I think you are the most inscrutable one of us all. I know what Rogel wants, and I know what Reboot wants. But even after so long, I have no idea what you want.
He wants to be left alone, to shoot off into the stars and hunt down Xenos on those delightful jet bikes. They are devilishly fast. I heard from a contact on Mars, Jaghatai, that you do strange things to your ships.
I heard you do strange things to your warriors.
I do wonder which one of you would win in a duel. I would like to see that. Both handle a blade like gods.
Name the place, brother. I'd even travel to Chogoris. If you built a palace to keep the dust from my armor.
You would lose.
Oh?
You would lose because you would treat it like a game, like you treat everything, and I would not. You would lose because you know nothing of me, while I know everything of you, because you shouted from the turrets of your battlecruisers. My prowess remains unknown. You have a reputation as a swordsman, brother, but I make no boast when I tell you I would leave you choking on it.
Now I regret bringing this up. In the cause of peace, shall we put this stupidity behind us? We are not at war, and likely will never be, and that is truly a blessing.
You do have your pride.
As do you.
Then what would you wager on us, brother, if we fought?
No, I grow tired.
Tell me, Or do you only consider the odds with sword dancers?
I don't know. It would be interesting to find out.
That it would. But we have nothing to fight over, you and I. So breathe easy.
Not even the librarians.
That's different.
How so?
There will be a reckoning. I'll be there when it happens. I hope you will be there too.
Welcome back to Voxel Uplink, where today we will be taking a broad look into the life of Jaghatai Khan, the Primarch of the 5th Legion, the White Scars. We will discuss Jaghatai's origins, his often misquoted or otherwise misunderstood achievements, as well as a look at his unwillingness to choose sides during the onset of the Horus Heresy, at least without reason and evidence. This will be the fourth in a series of Primarch videos, each of which detailing the basic overview of each son of the Emperor. As I've said before, please keep in mind that these are merely brief overviews of each of the Primarchs, and at a later date I do intend to further explore each of these figures in much more detail. If you're enjoying the content, please check out the links in the description, drop a like, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments. With all that said, let's get on with the video. Jaghatai Khan, the Great Khan of the White Scars, is one of the most enigmatic and least understood Primarchs in Warhammer 40k. While other Primarchs were defined by their sheer brutality, political ambition, or supernatural charisma, Jaghatai Khan remained a mystery, a figure of contradictions. Both warrior and poet, conqueror and philosopher, loyalist and outsider. His story is one of speed and strategy, of independence and honor, and of a legacy that shaped the Imperium in a way that few truly appreciate. Like all the Primarchs, Jaghatai Khan was stolen from the Emperor's gene forges and scattered across the galaxy by the ruinous powers of chaos. He landed on Chogoris, a planet of rolling steppes, towering mountains, and vast grasslands, resembling the Mongolian steppes of Terra's past. The world was divided into warring tribes, with a highly stratified civilization at the center. The ruling empire, known as the Palatine dynasty, controlled much of the land, enslaving the nomadic horse-riding tribes that roamed the steppes. These tribes, though seen as savages by the ruling class, were fierce warriors, hardened by the constant struggle for survival in the wilds. Jaghatai was found by one such nomadic tribe, the Talskars, and raised as one of their own. From a young age, he displayed exceptional physical and mental prowess, quickly rising to a leadership position within the tribe. He mastered the arts of war, particularly hit-and-run tactics, mobility, and deception, skills that would later define his legion. But beyond that, he possessed a deep understanding of philosophy, a love of poetry, and a belief in personal freedom. His first great act was uniting the fractured tribes of the steppe under his rule. Unlike many of his brothers, who conquered through sheer might, Jaghatai built his empire through respect and mutual loyalty. He did not force subjugation, but rather forged bonds between warriors who followed him because they chose to. With his new horde, he turned his attention to the Palatine dynasty, which had long oppressed his people. What followed was a brutal but decisive war of annihilation. Jaghatai struck with unparalleled speed, breaking the enemy supply lines, cutting down their armies before they could react, and collapsing the Palatine's rule in a series of lightning-fast raids. By the time the last Palatine city fell, the Khan had established himself as the ruler of Chogoris. It was then that the Emperor arrived, offering Jaghatai a place in the Great Crusade. Unlike some of his brothers who met their father with resistance or superstition, Jaghatai saw something of himself in the Emperor, a leader who sought unity, not through chains, but through understanding. He accepted the Emperor's offer, but on his own terms. He and his people would remain warriors of the steppes, their ways unchanged and their honor intact. Thus, The White Scars Legion was born anew, molded in the image of the Great Khan. Jaghatai Khan was an anomaly among the Primarchs. While his brothers sought dominion, recognition, or purpose within the Imperium, the Khan remained distant. He was not drawn to the courtly politics of Guilliman or the iron discipline of Dawn. He did not share the bloodthirsty savagery of Angron or the dark ambitions of Kurz. He was, in many ways, an outsider, even among the demigods of the Imperium. His nature was one of freedom. He despised rigid authority and valued personal choice above all else. Unlike the Ultramarines, who functioned as a well-oiled machine, or the Imperial Fists, who operated with rigid discipline, the White Scars thrived on spontaneity, adaptation, and personal initiative. This often put them at odds with the other legions, who saw them as unpredictable or even reckless. The Khan was also deeply philosophical. He had a love for poetry, for the art of storytelling, and for reflection. Where some of his brothers obsessed over conquest or power, Jaghatai often pondered the nature of existence, war, and the fleeting nature of all things. He was a warrior, but he saw war as a means to an end, not an end in and of itself. This made him an enigmatic figure to his brothers, some of whom respected him, while others dismissed him as a savage warlord with no grand vision. The Khan, however, was not without his flaws. His isolation from the politics of the Imperium meant that he and his legion were often underestimated or even overlooked in strategic planning. While other legions played prominent roles in shaping the Imperium's future, the White Scars were often relegated to the fringes of the galaxy, left to fight in distant wars while more politically minded Primarchs consolidated power. This suited Jaghatai to some extent, as he had no desire to rule over bureaucracies or administer vast empires. But it also meant that when the Horus Heresy began, the Khan was left without the network of allies and informants that many of his brothers relied on. When the Horus Heresy erupted, the galaxy was split into two warring factions, those loyal to the Emperor and those who had sided with Horus. For many Primarchs, the decision was immediate. Guilliman, Dawn, and Sanguinius stood steadfast with the Emperor, while Angron, Mortarion, and Fulgrim embraced Horus's rebellion. But for Jaghatai Khan, the choice was not so simple. When the first whispers of treachery reached him, the Khan did not act rashly. He did not blindly follow orders from Terra, nor did he immediately declare for Horus. Instead, he sought proof. He questioned every piece of information that came his way, wary of manipulation. His philosophy had always been one of freedom and self-determination, and he would not commit his legion to a cause without certainty. The Khan's hesitation was not due to cowardice or indecision, but to his deep distrust of authority. He had no love for Horus, but he also recognized that the Imperium was not without its flaws. He had always disliked the rigid dogma and bureaucracy of the Imperium, seeing it as a growing tyranny rather than the beacon of hope that it was meant to be. The betrayal of the War Master was shocking, but so too was the Emperor's apparent lack of foresight. If the Imperium could be shaken so easily, then was it truly worth saving? In the end, it was not an ideology, but evidence that made the decision for him. As reports of Horus's atrocities mounted, he saw the devastation wrought by the traitor legions. The Khan knew he could not stand aside. Whatever his misgivings about the Imperium, the alternative was far worse. He chose to stand with the Emperor, but, true to his nature, he did so on his own terms. The White Scars fought fiercely in the heresy, their speed and unpredictability proving invaluable in harassing the traitor forces. The Khan himself played a pivotal role in several key battles, including the Siege of Terra, where he led a lightning-fast set of strikes against the besieging traitor legions. His decision to side with the Emperor was not one of blind loyalty, but of reason, of understanding that despite its flaws, the Imperium was still the best hope for humanity. The Khan's disappearance is as mysterious as it is intriguing, as he was last seen leading a crusade into the Webway, an alternative dimension created by the Eldari and tapped into by the Emperor during one of his numerous secret projects at the height of the Great Crusade. Some speak hopefully of his return. Now, 10,000 years later, whereas others consider the Khan lost forever to the Webway's endless tides of demons and Dark Eldar forces who, surely, have long since overwhelmed him. Do you have any theories on the Khan? Let's discuss down below in the comments. Jaghatai Khan remains one of the most intriguing figures in Warhammer 40,000. His independence, his refusal to be bound by convention, and his unique perspective on war and leadership set him apart from his brothers. He was a warrior, a thinker, and ultimately, a man who chose his own path. In a universe where duty and destiny often dictate fate, Jaghatai Khan proved that true strength lies in choice. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch through this video. Please consider dropping a like and subscribing if you enjoyed it, as it will greatly help out the channel, as well as giving me some idea of what you guys want to see more of in the future. If you'd like to support the channel, then please head over to the Voxel Uplink Patreon. It may still be early days, but I have big plans for the Patreon and the channel overall. Coming soon, the Patreon will be receiving each video 1 week early, so if you want to get your hands on each of these a little bit earlier, head on over and subscribe for as little as $1 a month. I'd like to give a special shout out to the gentlemen who joined me for the opening sequence of this video as Jaghatai Khan, Sanguinius, and Mortarion. Whether you enjoyed today's content or not, please let me know your thoughts and opinions on Jaghatai and his white scars down in the comments below. Keep your eyes peeled, as next week we will be covering Leman Russ and the Space Wolves.